Greetings. Welcome back to Age of Wonders 4, my custom faction showcase. There's Mrixel. Are we getting him to this episode? I don't know. Maybe? Possibly. Let's do
your journey.
The next 10 in our Pantheon. My Pantheon. We ended on Junji Midnight Sky. We will continue with more of these Kamigawa kind of pure dragons. Another reason I kind of started this series is I wanted to use those dragon heads that look like kind of less traditional, kind of the Eastern dragon, plus this like little not tariffs, dreamers, banners. I think that's really cool looking. So I was like, well, I gotta make like sort of a mystic spirit dragon. Then I had the idea, it's like, I want to ascend dragons anyway, may as well base them off of that Magic the Gathering set Kamigawa that I never played. This is Yosei. Yosei is a battle saint, all about order and stuff like that. Many of them are Oathsworn, just because I was going for that Eastern Japanese aesthetic. Anyway, battle saint, order aspect, order transformation, order pure breath, order claw. This guy's all about order and holy damage. So if you need to like mass kill vampires or fiends or something, you take this guy and you just run him into battle and just burninate everything. Or take Goop. This guy is a acceptable second place. Tome of Faith, Ascended Prophet. So this one's kind of cool. I like effects that like are more than just like square. So I thought, why not take this one that buffs everyone? Plus, on top of that, if he takes the Battle Saint right side of the tree that buffs all your support, I believe this, counts as support. So you'll get all those bonuses on a cascade for all your guys standing next to each other. So that's pretty fun. They're righteous. They get bonuses for having good alignment. So again, this guy wants to play as a good guy. He in fact starts as like 2 bonus good alignment. So they come out of the gate strong. They come out of the gate probably somewhere in the adherent range, which would get them who knows, harmonized. They'd get a whole bunch of extra temporary hit points. 10, not bad. These guys are all kind of all about healing. Speaking of healing, so this is a custom guy, and I think this guy's kind of cool. I think I talked about this character on stream once. This was another one I was kind of trying to just whack pieces together. I wanted to use this head for something. I kind of like this sort of like weird angel dove body thing. So I'm like, I can definitely make sort of like a holy eldritch creature, but that just doesn't, like the biblically accurate angel. I'm sure everyone has a character like that. At least tried to make one like that. And so I was like, okay, well I can do that. How would I make, what's the twist I'm gonna put on that guy? That's what I often do, is like, okay, I can just make this very obvious thing, but how am I gonna make it like mine? How am I gonna make it unique? How am I gonna make it kind of weird? So kind of the story I came up with, I think it looks like I even ChatGPT'd like a little story together. The story that I kind of came up with was like, there's these halflings, they're just getting pressed by bigger rulers and factions, and they're just not having a good time. So they ask for the help from the gods, and something hears them in response to their cry. Is it an actual god? No, it's an eldritch being kind of posing as a god. And in exchange for gold, it promises to help them stay alive, to fight off these bigger invading forces that are giving these halflings a lot of trouble. But the thing is, this eldritch being is so good at keeping them alive that they can't die. It won't let them die. It'll keep them alive whether they like it or not. And its character wants gold, lots and lots of gold. It has some sort of need craving for gold. So that's why we have these blessings of Midas. There's lots of gold throughout. Yes, and additionally, I like the idea of the Prophet, sort of a joke like prophet. That was my bad sense of humor, trying to make a character kind of unique and more than just, oh, biblically accurate angels. What do? Well, they heal. Just there had to be a reason why they were healing, keeping guys alive. So that's what I came up with. And they're fun. I think that there's something about this head that just does not wow me. I wish it did, but maybe it's just too creepy and weird, or maybe it's just kind of too boring and generic. But and this body's kind of hard to use too. But they're fine. Okay, this is a fun one. Pull up a picture of my doggy. This is a character based off of my doggy. My dog's name is Torgo. Torgo The Floof, we call him, because he's very fluffy. My dog is a corgi poodle, so he's a Corgo. Torgo is the name of a character from a really, really, really bad movie called Manos Hands of Fate. In that movie, Torgo is sort of like the gatekeeper to hell, but hell is this lame, dirty, dingy hotel, and maybe not the devil, but or hell, but definitely this cult. And Torgo's sort of implied to be sort of like a satyr. He has these really strange knees in the movie, and he has this really weird way of talking. Hey, not talk like this. Very strange. He's the weirdest character in the movie. This movie had no budget, so they just had to make this guy as weird as humanly possible with no money. And I love that character. He's amazing. He's so weird. So I wanted to honor my doggy by building him into Age of Wonders 4. Now, you might be saying, why is he green? One time I took my dog over. My dog is basically all white. Took him over to a friend's house, and they had this big yard with some really overgrown grass, and it was spring, so the grass was really growing like crazy. And my doggy had the most fun running around in this tall grass all day. He ran for so long, probably 2 or 3 hours, just non-stop, playing ball and chasing sticks, that his feet turned green because they were so grass stained. So, lore-wise, my doggy is a green corgi poo. And I love that. That makes me so happy. He's a defender. He's got a big stick. He got a real big stick. My dog has a blue collar, hence this. They're defensive, they're cheerful, and they ride other doggies. White doggies, no less. More wolves, devotees of good, talented collectors. My dog's favorite game is keep away. If he goes and plays with other dogs, he waits till the other dogs leaves their toy alone while they go get a sip of water, and my doggy steals their toy and runs around like an idiot, and he's the most happy when the other dogs chase him around. That's his favorite. Yeah. So that's my doggy. Torgo The Floof. I'm gonna pause and I'm gonna find you. I have a picture of him with green grass stained paws on my computer, I'm pretty sure. So stand by. There we go. That's my doggy. That's him when he was fairly young. He looks pretty similar. He's lost some of this gray in him, but see his little gray paws? Isn't he cute? He was having so much fun that day. Oh, cute. Anyway, back to the game. We're recording, right? Yeah, I think. Yes? No? Maybe so? I sure hope so. I'll do this episode over again. You just wait. Okay. Torgo the Corgo. Love him. He's lying here on the floor. He's probably wondering why I'm saying his name so much. Okay, this is another one of my favorites. There were some toys when I was a kid called Dino Riders. Does anyone remember Dino Riders? So the premise of and of course there was a cartoon. I don't remember which came first, the toys or the cartoon, or if they kind of launched at the same time. But the premise was there were these lizard, amphibian aliens, technically, that came to Earth back when dinosaurs were alive, and they started enslaving dinosaurs and wanted to control the dinosaurs. I kind of forget why. This show didn't make a whole lot of sense. And it was basically just a platform to sell toys to kids. cool one. And so they would control these dinosaurs with this alien technology. And one of the things they would do is they had these things called brain boxes. It was basically just like plate armor with computers built into it. They would put on dinosaurs, and they could like roll the dinosaurs and mount like laser turrets to the dinosaurs, and they would fight the humans who chased the reptile guys to Earth, or maybe it was the other way around. Maybe the humans would come to Earth and the reptile people would chase them. But the humans like nicely bonded with the dinosaurs, you know, kind of like, oh, we're good people, you can befriend us. They didn't do the whole like brain box mind control thing. They were just sort of like befriending the dinosaurs. But that's boring. So I wanted to recreate the bad guys. I think the bad guy in that show's name was Rasp. He was like a something like that. He was a cobra, and he had like a cobra frill, and he was a sneaky guy. I was like, I could do that, or I can make a dinosaur. So this is Gigas T-Rex. He's a Dino Rider. Maybe he's like a different army faction of the Dino Riders, but this is him. He's a big, scary dude. He's got a sword and pistol. He's got ascended transformation, super growth, so he's super big, and animal kinship because they're kind of about animals. Come with the Horde. This one kind of fights his super growth, so I always have to be careful about that when I'm playing him. Whenever I play him, it usually ends up with they start out little for a little bit, and I turn that off. Then I go and get growth, make them all big and scary. They're lizard folk. They're hardy, adaptable, cold-blooded, and they have swift-foot raptor mounts. I was super excited when they added this. I probably built 10 factions that day that used raptors, and I had a lot of fun. I love dinosaurs almost as much as I love my Torgo. More? No. Well, if I had a pet Triceratops, I'd be pretty stoked. Not gonna lie. I would not let the Triceratops sleep in bed with me. Torgo sleeps in the middle of the bed. He takes up a lot of it because he's a greedy boy. I would not let the Triceratops sleep in bed. They're Reavers. So they have guns and they ride dinosaurs. What else do you want? Slavers, they're apex predators. Oh, I changed that in recently. Kind of makes sense. Dominator. He wants to capture dinosaurs, I guess. Warlord. I think the idea is he's selling the dinosaurs. Let's take a look at his outfit. I can't remember if I did
What is your people's form?
use the Age of
Reveal
Fashion
yourself.
mod, or if that is all stock standard. Yeah, it looks like that's all stock standard. Just doesn't have a helmet. Yep. And with that super growth, he's just like the biggest, gnarliest dude. How cool is he? With those like skulls, because he's captured other animals. A little visual storytelling there. He's got like weapons and armor and no shoes because his feet are too big, but who needs them because you got big old claws. And yeah, this guy's awesome. I love this guy. He doesn't come up in my games very much. I'm kind of disappointed. I was hoping he'd show up just like as an antagonist that I'd have to fight. Like, never shows up. Yeah, disappointing.
What is your people's form?
Okay, where did we start off? We started with Yosei. Okay. Here's another one. We didn't do a series with this guy, but this is. I'm gonna go into the editor so we can see him in
What
daylight
is
a
your
little bit
people's
better.
form?
But they can't really see then all of his bits and bobs. Okay, I'll come back to
What
that.
is your
I'll come back to
ruler's
that.
origin?
We'll come back to that.
Your journey
That character,
starts here.
Yosei. Ehcts Llaberif is a D&D character I made. And in fact, this is the character that I played through Baldur's Gate 3. He's a monk. Can't really do monks. So he's a defender with a martial cestus. He's all about like counterattack, and that's kind of how I played him in D&D. Is he's supposed to be this like enormous red dragonborn. Dragonkin, I forget which one it is. But he's like the nicest guy. He's so nice and friendly and polite and sweet. He's basically like, I kind of like the idea of Po from, I think that's what his name was, Kung Fu Panda, even though he was kind of a bumbling idiot. This character, Ehcts, is just like the nicest guy, but also really naive. He doesn't understand how money works. right? Because he lived in a monastery his whole life. So when he goes into town, and when I played him in D&D, I played this guy in D&D in a campaign with my brother, and he was super fun because he's so stupid about like the way the real world works. So anytime I would get gold, like the first thing my character X would do would just like give it to someone. He'd ask for like one thing. He'd like order a sandwich or like a bowl of soup, and because he didn't realize that like, you know, a bowl of soup only costs a certain amount, he just thought you just gave away all your money. So like the person would bring him a bowl of soup, and he'd go, okay, thank you, and he'd drop like all of his gold in the person's hand, you know, hundreds or thousands of gold for like one bowl of soup, and then he'd be like, is that not right? Is that not what we do? It was very fun to role play. But like, if he ever gets in a fight, you're effed. This dude is like, he's like a kung fu master. This guy knows how to kill you with like toenail clippings. It's just part of his DNA. But he's not mean. He's just like, that's just what he does. It's just how he grew up. That's all he knows. His name, you're probably like, what is this name? If you understand the jokes already, good on ya. Llaberif is fireball backwards. And there is a iconic magic card called Fireball that has an X in the casting cost. So I'm like, X, Llaberif, he's a red dragon. Alright, I needed a name for him. I played this guy through when the Oathsworn came out. I was super excited to build this character, and he was super fun to play. He's a good guy. I gave him this because why? Just because I didn't want him to be pure order, I think. Just to give him just a little bit of edge and intrigue. Excuse me. He's an instructor in my sort of D&D lore that I came up with. Yeah, he was a kung fu master. He trained other people kung fu or martial arts, and he was very good at it. He could teach you how to defend yourself, but he just didn't understand how to order a bowl of soup. If I may, I'll, as I kind of click through and give you a better look at
what is your people's
his
form?
bits and bobs. She wasn't Uniters. Tome of Discipline, one of my absolute favorite tomes.
Choose your
I
first
love this tome,
of magic.
mainly because of Empowered Strikes. This is bananas. It's so good. Anyway,
Reveal yourself.
there he is with the daylight. He's very pink. So pink. More red. It might be the transformations on him, but I do like the kind of like glowing white fist, implying that he's like sort of spiritual in some ways. A funny story I have about X. I have several, but in the tabletop D&D version I was playing, I think we were playing 4th edition or 5th edition. I can't remember. I think it was 5th edition. Yeah, it was 5th edition because it was when you were supposed to sort of like it was leaning really heavy into the role play and kind of taking a step back from like the super regimented skills and moves that sort of like took away from sort of the theater of the mind. It took me a while to kind of get used to that, but then once I did, I'm like, oh, this is pretty cool. So in one fight we got into, X was standing right next to an archer. And for whatever reason, that like bad guys that were archers, and that archer needed to get away from X. He was afraid or something. No, I take it back. X was needed to run away from the archer. Yeah, I think that's what it was. One way or the other. And so the archer got to make an opportunity attack on X. Which an opportunity attack is if you move away from someone while you're in their range, they get a free attack on you, basic attack. And I believe, I think the archer was moving away to do like an arrow attack at X. No, what it was, if an archer did an attack right next to you, it prompted an opportunity attack. That's what it was. Okay. Archer, standing right next to Ehcts, wanted to shoot Ehcts with an arrow. Ehcts got an opportunity attack against the Archer. Well, Ehcts rolled a crit. He got a natural 20. So the roleplay theater of the mind I came up with was Ehcts did like a kung fu punch and put one fingertip against the arrow that was knocked in the Archer's bow. And, you know, with just the right sort of kung fu ki Zen master, that instead of the arrow flying out and shooting Ehcts, the arrow backfired and like snapped the bow and like hit the Archer guy in the face, or, you know, dealing damage to him. So the arrow actually went back into the guy, and it was just like, in my mind, I just thought that was so cool. I probably didn't explain that well. The whole trying to remember how opportunity attacks
Your
work.
journey begins.
Yeah, so that's Ehcts.
Reveal
I think
yourself.
Ehcts is a super cool character. I
Your
really like
journey
Ehcts.
starts here.
Next up, where are we? We started down. Oops, not this list. We want this list. Slowly chipping away at rebuilding all my custom characters with color. Okay. Ehcts. Cinder Goldscald. This is my. We have like all of my. 3 of my giants right here. Cinder Goldscald is a fire giant. He originally started as an orc, but he didn't look like an orc. I just took like an orc body and I did things to make it look less like an orc. I like gave him like the mummy skin and the lots of armor, and you really couldn't tell it was an orc. It looked kind of like a golem, which is kind of the idea of this guy. We'll just kind of go through his beat here. He's a fire giant. He does fire damage. He's pyromancer. Blah blah blah. He's dwarfkin, or he's his people are dwarves. The story I came up with Cinder was I wanted to make like a combination of like holy and fire. I wanted like a holy fire. I think this was before the Tome of Cleansing Flame. I was just like, I'm gonna try to make this work. And I think they even started as Order that tried to do fire. And for some reason, I just could not get it to come together the way I wanted to. So eventually I moved into Industrious, which kind of made, maybe they were always Industrious and I tried to do like holy and I don't remember. And so he became kind of my pyromancer guy. And he was all about just like these dwarves they literally built a god out of like magic and maybe like some holy relics, and they melted it all down and they put it together and they ended up with this fire golem that is a small piece of a god. And that's how Cinder Goldscald came to be about. I like the lore and the look of this guy a lot. I think he looks super mega awesome.
What is your
And he plays
people's
kind of
form?
like how I would expect too. He's a big lumbering fire giant. Big piece of rock that's somehow important. Yeah. Quite happy with the way he came out. Pretty standard build. At least aesthetically. I don't think these work. Oh, maybe they do. Oh yeah, they do, but they can cause problems. So I try not to use them. Yep.
What is your people's form?
Next up. I'm gonna take a sip. Okay, we are here starting at Yosei. No, we almost missed one. Zoltan. Here's my other giant. We actually did a series with this guy. Gal, I believe. Zoltan is named after a character in Dude, Where's My Car? I think it's like the alien being, but they form together and they make a giant woman. And I'm like, I need to make a lightning giant somehow. I have no other ideas. And I think when we were seeing previews for Giant Kings, Triumph Studios made a character that could like smash with lightning on their attacks. I'm like, and because giants, all of their base attacks just hit like everything in front of them. I'm like, that's insane. That's so crazy. So I decided to try and make this guy do every flavor of damage possible in one swing. I think we got close to it. If not, we did get there. So this is just kind of a joke build. I'm not hugely. I don't love giants in Age of Wonders 4. I think they're a little too personal. That's just me. Anyway, so Zoltan starts as a storm giant and does lightning stuff, and because they're barbarians, that's how we can sometimes get our blight damage. They take Tome of Pyromancy, so they can get the searing flame and stuff. I took unicorns because if we're gonna do a rainbow build, unicorns get rainbows coming out of the butt, and that's perfect. Fabled Hunters, runesmiths so they can have lots of enchantments on them. And there are a couple Inner Frost, so that's another damage channel. And then there are a couple other ways that I had in there to make sure that she eventually got to all of her rainbow build. And I went with Sirens because I think they can get, they're aliens, that's right, Sirens.
What is your people's form?
My neighbors are hooting and hollering in the parking lot.
Reveal
There's the appearance. Gave her some lightning runes. I made her very tall and lanky. I wish you could make giants a little bulkier. They're kind of a little too slim for my taste, but I think for a female giant, fine. There wasn't like a female head that really felt right. Maybe that's okay. I don't know. I kind of like that one. That looked like a barbarian to me. So yeah, that's Zoltan. Zoltan! Dude, where's my car?
What is your people's
That's a silly
form?
one. That is a silly one. Ephyca Frostdoter. Now, I quite like Ephyca Frostdoter. I think she turned out really cool. She actually started in my Nicol Bolas series. She was, I think, the first hero we picked up. And she pulled weight. She did so much work in that series. And I just ended up really liking her as just like a hero. So I ascended her. The made up lore I came up with her, Nicol Bolas. She's like, Nicol Bolas is like second in command, basically. He was like, you have helped me so much, I'm going to ascend you to a giant. So he turns her to a giant, protects her, or who protects him. So she's got Nicol Bolas's little emblem there. She's a frost giant. She's a death knight. I think she was a death knight when we picked her up. And I kind of used her as a defender. And I gave her lots of armor, and she kind of worked. Kind of worked okay. She's an ascended cryomancer, so she can just freeze stuff. I don't think she could do so much of that when I played her in the Nicol Bolas series, but I'm like, I need a frost giant. I like the name, I like the character. She was a death knight. Let's just lean into that. So she's just got just everything ice related I could come up with. Cult of Tyranny. Maybe it should be Cult of Death again, because she's Death Knight. I think she's less about being a Death Knight. Is more she is about like death magic, if that makes sense. So ice and winter. So maybe Tyranny is fine. She's a tyrannical ruler. Sure, I can get behind that. We can take a look at how she came out. I think she looks awesome.
What is your people's
She looks pretty
form?
awesome in the in the Nicol Bolas series too. But I just figured, again, playing with the pieces, I really like this. Like, not that one. Maybe that's what her head looks like normally. But this like dragon crown. Maybe Nicol Bolas gave her the skull of one of his crushed kin or something to wear it as a grim reminder that he will not let anyone stand in his way or something. I don't know. This armor set's really cool. It's just it's just basic metal. Yep. And I think pretty much everything else about her was. No,
What
she's
is your
human. All
people's
right.
form?
So it is. Okay, cool. Ephyca Frostdoter. Yosei, we are making quick work through my pantheon here. This is great. Dramoka. So this is a guy I needed a Earth dragon. There's not. Couldn't find like a named Earth dragon in Magic the Gathering. I'm gonna take a sip of my mouth. Right. Closest things I could get to were like there's a couple like steel metal dragons who kind of fit the bill, but not quite. I can't really make like a metal-looking dragon. I was finding this one's really hard because I couldn't quite figure out what I wanted to do. And in fact, this guy might get booted out of my pantheon. Not sure yet. So again, I just wanted a guy that was like all about like earth and sand and defending. And what I'd like to do is I'd like to make this guy just like a super defender. I know there's a dragon defender build out there where he just basically like becomes unkillable and just like retaliation everything to death. That's what I'd like to do with this guy. Sandworms, they're lizard folk, they're tough, they're adaptable, they're poisonous, they are primal dune serpent. My thinking being maybe he summons other sandworms. Question mark. I don't know. I played this guy enough to ascend him. I don't really like Primal, but I haven't played them since they got the tweaks, so maybe I will like them better. Who knows? Crusaders, Hermit Kingdom. Who knows? This is not one of my better builds. Dramoka in Magic the Gathering is a white-green dragon, I believe. So I had to kind of like skew him more towards, might be a her. I had to skew Dramoka more towards Materium. This is more of like, I needed something to work, and this is the best I can do. Not my best. Not my best. Forgive me. Okay, last one of today, and it's another pretty cool one. Serra De Lacroix. There is an iconic Magic card called Serra's Angel, and it goes back to some of the earliest editions, and it's just a 4/4 Angel, which is pretty big, with flying and an ability called Vigilance, and for like 5 mana, and that's surprisingly good, even in today's Magic. That is very bargain rate for like a very pretty solid card. I think originally Serra Angels were rare. I think the lowest they ever got was a uncommon. Maybe they touched common at one point. But there was this character is based off of the Planeswalker. I think it was in a Modern Masters series. I never played Modern Masters because I poor boy. I'm a sandwich. Where they made like a Serra Angel Planeswalker. I think it was called like Serra's Avatar or that. And it was basically just I forget exactly what it did, but it was cool. It was a cool Planeswalker. So I'm like, I want to make a character like that. And so around the time, let's see, what am I trying to say? They released some stuff in game that didn't seem to really connect to each other. They released this big sword. They released this weird metal no feet armor. And is she? Oh no, she's high. I was wondering if she was Oathborn. But I'm like, these are all weird pieces. I'm gonna make a character out of these. And I wanted to make like, maybe it's when they released Battle Saint. No, Battle Saint is so recent. I'm like, I want to make like a holy barbarian is basically what I wanted to make. So that's what I came up with. Mastery, magic words, Blessed Bringer. So she buffs, but mostly she smash. She smash hard. They're strong, they're elusive, they're high. Glens Crusaders, again, I picked that for like 50% of my pantheon. Sure seems like it. Righteous Ascended. And yeah, she's just a big old... She's just an angel with a gigantic sword. And I thought that just seemed kind of cool and unusual. How did I use any? Yeah, I used a few things out of here. I gave her a little metal halo. I like this, the wrap over the eyes. I kind of like that idea of like see no evil. Thought that was kind of geeky. And then just some other stuff to make her seem more metallic. Little ribbon things in her cape. Yeah. Just a little twist on a favorite classic thing. I think that is going to be... That's our 10. There's 10 more. Another 35-minute episode. Good deal. I think I'm liking this way of doing it. Thank you for joining me for another episode of my custom fashion showcase. I mean, it is kind of that too. Custom fashion showcase. Thank you for watching. This is really fun. I'm really enjoying this. Hope I will catch you in the next one. Like, share, subscribe, leave comments, ideas, questions, deeper dive. I'd be happy to really, if you're like, you know, please tell me more about your Torgo the Floof. I want to know all the lore, all the goofy lore you've came up with for this guy. Please, I must know about your silly dogs faction. Like, I got you. I'll let you know. I'll do a 2-hour deep dive episode. No, I won't. I'm not going to do that. But I'd be happy to go into further detail if anyone wants to see, like, you know, how did I build? I went into most of these. Yeah. If you want to see how I build these guys in better detail, let me know. I'd love to show you. I would love to. You can probably figure this guy out. Yeah. Pretty simple. Pretty basic. Yep. Anyway. Thanks again. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.